if you're using Airtable, that can get kind of costly. I have a self-hosted solution for you called Baserow that is as good. The free self-hosted version is semi-limited, and I say semi-limited because if we go into the free, you'll see you get a lot of stuff on the free version. They do have a premium for our needs. It's unnecessary. The good thing about Baserow is it's a self-hosted database tool, so it's better than Excel and because it's self-hosted, automatically builds APIs and has different views, has a ton of stuff. Let's install it. I'm going to install this on Unraid. It'll run anything. If the operating system you've got has Docker, it'll run. It also has N8N and Zapier and Make integrations as well. So if you've got if you're doing no-code automations, then this is a database that you can use via an API to, power whatever solutions you've got. Documentation, easy to set up on Ubuntu. You can host it basically anywhere. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to go into my apps and look for Baserow, click install. Because you can keep this locally, and if you're just doing API or if you want to connect it to other apps locally, then just keep it as the local URL and port. I'm going to change this because I'm going to use Pangolin, and yeah, you can use Cloudflare tunnels. You could use any tunnel service to this. I'm going to use Pangolin, and I'm going to call this Baserow benlab.cc. And because the Pangolin will create a SSL, I will make sure it is HTTPS. And that I'll check my Docker allocations. I have nothing on that port. Good, hit apply. Once that's done, hit done. Go into my Docker. It may take, depending on the size of your server, it might take a little while. Okay, I'm going to grab that IP because I believe I'm just going to go into logs and I think it's probably going to show it's still setting up. Can take a little while. There's a lot going on. Yeah, it's still setting up. I'm going to go in Pangolin. I'm going to set up the URL. In my Pangolin sites, public, in my public, I'm going to call this Baserow and the subdomain will be Baserow and the domain is correct. Now hit target, give it the IP address of the server, the port, make sure that's HTTPS, hit create resource. Now I'm actually going to change that to HTTP because internally it's a HTTP, but we've set it to be HTTPS as the external in. So hit save target. Pretty sure that works. Now, if you're trying to use the API, it will get blocked because if you're using Pangolin, it's got a access control with the SSO or the single sign-on. You can add header authentication, user and password. So it will access using that and then make sure whatever API you'll use does this. And then it will be able to pass through no issue. I'm going to leave that disabled for now just because of ease. If it's got a PIN code or a password, and this is just a Pangolin thing, you won't have the same issue with Cloudflare, but you can't pass the password or the PIN code through via an API call, just to be aware. So save access controls. Now, if I click on here, there we go. We're in the Baserow setup. This is so easy. So I'm going to create an account and my name, I'll just call it. I'll say my name is BenLab. My password is BenLab. There we go. There is a bit of a setup. It's a bit annoying, but whatever. Skip. We'll just call this BenLab for now. Hit continue. Skip. I'll call this BenLab. Just starting off. Projects. Yeah, whatever. Skip. So it gives you a tour and you can go through it. And that's good. Great. We're done. Really quick, we can add the column headers here. So a single line of text, we'll call this, say, instruct, and it is a single line of text. Done. And we'll call this date. We'll give it a date and we'll say it's ISO create. On here, I believe there is no number to how many databases that you can create, and you can sync it up. You can sync it with a remote SQL if you want, or another SQL. And that's what this will interface with. So gives you a way of interfacing directly with the, whatever database. I'm going to add, or a table. You can add databases, there's applications, there's a ton of stuff in here. Things I find really good is there's a webhooks function, which allows you to create a webhook based on any event in here. So if you're using N8N, you could do an update in here and then it would go and trigger something somewhere else, which is one cool thing. The other one is the API. So if you click on the database, you can click on the view API docs, and it gives you the curl if you want, or Python, JS as well, to be able to edit, update, list, grab all of the fields. So you see I've got our name, the string, the date, straight away. I love it. Automatic APIs, done. And because we've set it up on a domain name, that's your endpoint, and then it will just run. In your admin tools, gives you some basic information. I don't believe that there is, for the free version, any limit on how many users you can have. If we go into the licenses, it shows you that this is what you don't have, which, whatever. I think it's absolutely fine. Create multiple workspaces, add users to the workspaces. So now you can start to use this as a bit more of an admin tool. Then we've got the ability to, like I said, add applications or a dashboard. You can import from databases from existing stuff. And there's one more thing I want to show you. With the API, to get the token, go into your My Settings and you'll see database tokens, and you can create a token and connect it to a workspace. And that's the token you'll need if you want to use the APIs. The other thing I like is you can create an MCP. So you can have whatever model you're using, and then the database is here, and then you can build an MCP to interact with that database, which is another really nice thing. I don't believe you can do any type of queries. I may be wrong in that, but I don't think you can do a lot of queries in Airtable anyway. But if you are just looking for a self-hosted, relatively light Airtable alternative, then it's definitely worth taking a look at Baserow.